Hey, what's going on guys? It's ExothermicNuke here, back bringing you a brand new video today. And today I want to talk about Destiny 2 once again. But today I want to talk about if Destiny 2 is going to survive throughout the year, and if its replayability value will still be there. So far I have about 108 hours roughly on Destiny 2, and I've done all the missions, I've made 3 characters, I've done the raid, I've done trials, I've done basically everything there is to do so far in the game, and I want to talk about each of the points I've just mentioned and if the game will last. So the first section I want to talk about is the story, which I've played over 3 times, and at this point, although it was fun at first doing it with your friends and stuff, but at this point doing it 3 times if you want to make 3 characters, it just gets repetitive and tedious and really boring. And I can't stress this enough. It's like the worst aspect. I just don't like. My 3rd character is like halfway through the campaign, and I just don't want to work on it because I just don't want to do the story once again because it's so boring and repetitive. Although it is worth it at the end because the random loot drop system is really weird on this game, and you can't make 3 of the same characters, which I absolutely hate. I wanted to make 3 hunters, but I can't even do that because you have to make 3 different characters to get higher level loot drops, which I think is so dumb because it just makes it that much harder to get that specific armor, that specific weapon for your character, and I just find that really just obnoxious on Bungie's point of view. One thing that I have to say about the story is if you play it with a friend, it's a lot more fun. I've mostly been playing it by myself and just listening to music and not even paying attention to the story, so it just gets really boring and repetitive. But if you play it with friends and just goof around while you're going through it, it's going to be a lot more fun than just rinsing and repeating each mission over and over again. So if you're doing 3 characters, try to do it with friends. I've tried to do that, but then they don't want to do it because they don't want to redo the entire campaign. So just try to get some friends if you can to go through the story once again if you want to make multiple characters, and you'll be set. Next I want to talk about post level 20 and post story, so end game loot. Basically it's just a bunch of grinding once you get to level 20. I've been doing strikes. You don't get much loot from strikes. I think just strikes are completely useless at the moment. There's only like 4 of them. Although they're fun the first couple times, especially with friends, it just, by the end of it, it takes so much time to do, and by the end of it, you just don't get the loot, basically. You're just getting more rares and just nothing of value. And for me personally, the Vanguard legendaries just don't look good whatsoever, so it doesn't intrigue me to even go and do strikes, which I don't like whatsoever, because although that's what Destiny 1 was mostly made up of, is strikes, it had so many more. So you would go into the strike playlist and you just have an endless amount of strikes basically to play. Although they got repetitive after a while, it didn't take long. It didn't take this short of a time to get bored of these missions, because I'm extremely bored of the strikes. You'll also be doing public events to getting to like around 265, and those are fun to do, but after a while it just gets tedious and annoying of doing just public events over and over and over. I've known friends that have done like over 100 public events just sitting there trying to grind for exotics to be able to infuse with their current armor or weapons to be able to get higher light level, and it just doesn't seem worth it to me. I've done at least 50 or 60 public events, and they're just the same thing over and over. But what I have to say is when you use the fire team medallion at the end, which you would get at the end of the game, and you could get from Bright Dust by decrypting bright engrams, those make doing strikes and doing public events a lot more efficient and a lot more fun because you're actually getting loot from it. If you don't use those fire team medallions, you're not going to be really getting anything from it. And so if you have those and you're grinding public events or strikes, I suggest using that because you get a lot more stuff and a lot more gear to loot up with. One thing that I constantly feel myself doing with public events is I'm always on Earth, the EDZ zone. I'm never on any other planet like Nessus or Io or Titan. It's just, there's no point in being on those planets because the armor doesn't look as cool, you don't get it as fast, it's not as big of an area, so you're not getting as many public events as you would on the EDZ, so you could just fast travel to each part. So it just seems kind of pointless and useless to go on these other planets unless you're doing the milestones for the powerful gear. That's the only reason I've went on Io or on Nessus to be able to do public events, so I could get the powerful gear milestone. With the combination of public events and strikes, you're going to be doing some Crucible, which if you pop a fire team medallion, you're going to be getting a lot of loot from it and a lot of different legendaries. So I recommend playing Crucible because you get a lot of different loot from Crucible than you would in strikes or doing public events, because I've gotten at least 20 legendaries just from Crucible, and it's a lot of fun. Although it does get quite annoying with just the repetitive nature and just the fact that quick play is where all the competitive people basically play, and competitive is where all the casual people play, which I don't really like, and it's kind of obnoxious. But if you want loot, I recommend doing Crucible for it, and you could just decrypt things that you don't want for legendary shards to use for Xur. So Crucible does have an aspect that will create a lot more hours for the player to be able to experience. So you've done it, you've made it to 265. What's next? Well, the Nightfall's next, and I can't stress it enough, I hate the Nightfall in this game. It is so easy and so completely just not a challenge at all. If you guys have played the Nightfall, you would realize that there's a timer, and that you have to beat the Nightfall within the timer, and on each Nightfall there's a different type of element to it where you have to get more time, and the recent one was time portals, and it's just so easy. I would finish the Nightfall with 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, 7 minutes left. It's just really easy to complete. And also, the thing I hate the most about Nightfall is I can't believe they've done this, that they took out the aspect that when your entire fire team dies, you all go to orbit. You could just all respawn and just keep doing it, and it ruins the whole aspect of Nightfall and the challenge of it. And when you complete the Nightfall, you don't get the loot. You get one legendary item, and it's always ends up not being that good anyways, and you're just like, why did I do this entire thing? And it was just pointless. It's just like a basic strike, but you get a little bit more loot, and it's just not worth it to me. So now you've come to the final endgame stuff, Trials and the raid. So I want to talk about the raid first. I have to say the raid was beyond fun. It was a lot of fun, but also very frustrating at the same time. You get in there, you start it out, and you start it's difficult. It's not something easy, but it's something fun. It's something refreshing. And the only thing I don't like about the raid is I suggest you all play it for yourselves. It's a lot of fun, and the only thing is getting a fire team that knows what they're doing, because there's a lot of different concepts and a lot of just difficult stuff to remember. So you have to get a fire team that know what they're doing. But the only thing I don't like about the raid is the loot system. When you beat something, you don't get a weapon or armor or anything like that. Instead, you get keys, which you have to go into the tunnel system and basically find this chest that is just going to end up giving you tokens and just legendary engrams that are lower light than you already have, and it just doesn't seem worth it. I missed in Destiny 1 when you would do Vault of Glass and you complete the raid and you basically get all your loot right from beating that boss, and you'd be able to equip it and keep going, and it would bring up your light level a ton. I missed that, and they don't really have that in this game except for the final boss, and the final boss you're basically just getting one thing, and the amount of hours I've spent on the raid just doesn't seem worth it to me. I spent around 2 days just trying to complete the raid, and it's just so much effort, and it's just not worth it to me. I really want to see in the next raid them bring something new and exciting and bring that old loot system back for raids, because that's what kept it going and kept it fun. So after you beat the raid, you're finally ready to hop into Trials with all your gear that you've gotten and just ready to wreck some kids. So I've played Trials about a couple hours now. I have to say it's quite difficult, but it's a lot of fun to play with your teammates and basically work together to accomplish this goal of getting 7 wins and trying to go flawless. So you have to get 7 wins, but you have 3 chances at getting losses before your card resets. And I have to say, the only thing I don't like about Trials, although I love Trials, I love the new Trials, I like the weapons, the armor's pretty cool. The one thing I don't like is the token system. I liked how in Destiny 1, when you would beat Trials, then you'd get all your gear. In this game, you can use tokens, which you could just get from challenges, or winning the game, and you could just trade those in, and then get loot before you even complete the Trials challenge. And I just don't really like that aspect, but that's my personal opinion, because you're just getting all the loot before you even beat the challenge. But overall, Destiny 2 has a lot of content in it, although personally I've played through all of it and I'm getting a little bit bored right now. I want to see a lot more content come into the game. I know the hard mode raid is coming out soon, and I haven't really done the Prestige Nightfall yet, but I have to say so far it's starting to get a little bit repetitive, and that kind of scares me, because in Destiny 1 I know it didn't start getting repetitive until like about a month or 2 after the game came out, and it's only been like a week or 2 for Destiny 2, and that really scares me and the lifespan of this game. But I think if they keep on adding content and keep on refreshing it and adding more stuff, then this game should last quite a long time, and with the fan base it has currently, it should be able to last the entire year easily and up till the first DLC. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to know your guys' opinion, so leave them down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more if you enjoyed. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, and peace, guys.